Trekkers and Trekkers! Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host Orinda, and together with my co-host Amanda, we recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped and chronically following. We will approach each episode with humor and a feminine look. Today we recap the episode Unnatural Selection. Well, everyone, let's ring for Amanda again. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I had some fun on Monday there for Halloween. I gave her some candy, dressed up as one of my many costumes. I think we had 150 kids.
Okay.
And I ran out of candy, so whatever kids came along didn't get anything.
Oh.
Because one of them rang the bell like 8 times in one sitting.
Oh, okay.
He just pushed it. He's like, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, I'm out of candy. But you think the kids would click into it right away that the light is off. There's no more candy.
Yeah.
The kids were still going trick-or-treating an hour after I was done. Oh, well.
That was Halloween again for this year.
Oh, yeah. It was fun. Oh, news. Not really that much. I can't believe we're in November.
Yeah.
Holy crap, November
flies.
November 2nd already.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, and we're supposed to get a nasty winter, I heard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's life in the Maritimes, they say.
Well, I have fun news as well. This Saturday we're going to get the pup. So I'm going to get a new doggy.
Aw, puppy.
Yeah.
My sister, I forgot to mention this. My sister's got a new puppy.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that. I saw the picture on Facebook. Oh my gosh, she's so tiny and cute.
What breed is it?
I want another dog. I'm not exactly sure, but I guess he grows to be pretty big.
Okay.
Because they got Roxy the Jack Russell, and she's small. This one I know is going to be bigger than her.
Yeah, okay. But okay. Wow! Today's episode is a Doctor Pulaski's episode, and I've really thought already that this was the episode with her. I must say, I think this is the episode that I really got more respect for her as how she is as a doctor, but also like the person she is. And yeah, I think at the end of the episode you could see Picard has more respect for her as well, especially when her former Captain Taggart, told him, well, she always had admired you. So I think this is starting to become a better working relationship between those two.
I'd say so, yeah. And I think in the episode she was a bit nicer to Data too, I think.
Yes, really. She was nicer to Data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not being so condescending towards him. Yeah.
So we're starting with a distress call from the USS Lantry. And the USS Lantry is some kind of a cargo ship from the Federation. And their last message was that they were dying. And there was something, Picard had a mission there. I believe it was even on Darwin Station. But first they're going to investigate what happened to the USS Lantry, because it was a distress call, so they went there. And they couldn't get in contact with them. So in the end, they ended up asking Geordie LaForge to get the bridge monitors and bridge cameras to work, and that's how they could see that the crew of the USS Lantry were dead. And
they were aged really quickly. Like they went from being young to older than dead. It's like a actual condition like progeria. That's like an aging disease where the people age really quick.
Mm.
And they don't live long with that condition.
Isn't that also the same as like the other way around with Benjamin Button? Or what was his name?
Yeah, kind of like Benjamin Button, but Benjamin Button was born old, but he de-aged to be young.
Yeah. But I think that is also
progeria is like when I forget how it went, but it was on Maury episodes a few times.
Mm.
Yeah, some episodes about these kids in progeria. Some of them don't even live to be teenagers, but some do live to be teenagers. It's a rare exception.
Isn't that also the same, some kind of an episode with in Voyager when Tuvok landed on this planet and he found those 3 young children and they had some kind of a ceremony that they would go over and they went from old to young, and when they were crossed over they were like babies.
I still haven't seen that yet. Yeah,
You're missing
I'm a little
out.
slow in that department of watching. I'm slow in watching shows. Just the way I am.
The Enterprise, and I mean that really the bridge crew senior members, they were listening to the last captain's entry of the USS Lantry, and it was a weird entry and he said, well, this is my last entry, this and this is happening to us, please stay out of here because it's probably contagious and you will have the same as us. And after that they had a meeting, the senior officers, and in the meeting they Worf was exactly right on the defense. It's not often that Worf will get into the defense first, but Pulaski was the first. I mean, Riker told everyone that Captain Taggart was his ace, so he aced so hard that you couldn't see that it was the age of Riker. So then you didn't notice. Talking about Captain Taggart, guys, there is also, and for the ones who are playing Star Trek Online, we also have a complete story arc line with Captain Taggart, and Captain Taggart is looking very different than in this episode. So it was very funny to me that I could see, oh, okay, this is some kind of the real Captain Taggart, and the Taggart in the game looks very different. So that was one of the things that I noticed. So there is only one thing to do for the Enterprise, and that is putting the USS Lantry in as in a quarantine ship. so nobody can come over there or whatever, because they will have the virus. And so they set course to the Darwin station, and the Darwin station is like a medical science station. And Pulaski was talking with one of the doctors there, and it seems, what I couldn't remember of this episode, is that she was very famous around there of the book she wrote, and of her I think something about genetic science or whatever what it was.
Yeah. So I try to remember some of the stuff that they said, but yeah, she did write some books because she was famous for that.
Well, it was also that that doctor, she told Pulaski about the illness, etc., and she just told her also that she just turned 35, and she looked older, like 60 or whatever.
Yeah.
And Pulaski
she said she turned 45 and she didn't look it.
No, that was the weird thing, I guess. And she told her the symptoms about like spontaneous arthritis or whatever.
Yeah, arthritis. I know all about that.
But Pulaski was asking her something about the genetics, something that could help their condition. But she said, well, it doesn't matter, and we know that this is the end for us, but we are concerned about our genetic kids. There were about, how many kids? About 8 kids or something that they did with genetic DNA or whatever. Then Picard, Pulaski, Riker, Worf, and Troy were in a meeting to discuss this in one way, opportunity, in one way, how to say it, like a, they just had to get more information. And so Pulaski wanted to get an examine one of the children. He was 12 years old. But they were struggling to find a safe solution to do that. Pulaski was really protesting for her cause to Picard. And that was the first time we see Picard finally give in to say, okay, but we need to find a way to do it safely and not to contaminate the crew, because that is very important.
Yeah,
and
when they did bring him on, he looked like he was covered in like a plastic shell, like a really shiny plastic shell.
Yeah, and that was more like a how they called it, like a shield that they use for them. And
yeah, like a I forget what they call it, privacy shield.
And the child would be in a sleeping stasis, so he wouldn't give them the illness in a way. But did you notice this was the first time that Chief O'Brien has the title of chief, and that O'Brien has a more permanent role in this episode?
Oh, I just realized that myself too, yeah. Normally they would just call him O'Brien, do this, or O'Brien, can you transport so-and-so there?
Yeah,
but now they call him Chief O'Brien.
Yeah, and in the beginning, he didn't have a title or rank, or he wasn't even nameless. And I remember that in one of the documentaries, that they say he wouldn't be a regular guest. And after so many, I think, after the first year he was in there, they said, okay, he can be a regular, and he will be part of the team. And we all know he will transfer over to Deep Space Nine with a very...
And be married.
He will be have a very big role in this series. And, of course, in the end of Deep Space Nine, we see him transferring over to the Starfleet Academy to be a teacher at the Starfleet Academy.
Oh. Look, I've seen some of DS9, but I haven't got all the way through it yet.
Oh, you're missing out, girl.
I know. I am slow. I know. I'm not that fast for a person.
So, when they brought that 12-year-old boy in stasis to, that was the medical sickbay, the child, what we saw, he was just only 12 years old, but his body was very matured. And
he definitely didn't look 12.
Well, he looked more like 20 or something.
Yeah, like a lot older than 12. Yeah, definitely looked like he was 20s.
And so the medical team was examining him in like the stasis pod, and so what they could see right away, and their scans results also said it, that those children were very advanced and they had this immune system built that they will attack every illness or whatever in the body and it will destroy it. And that was the moment that Pulaski said, well, Captain, I like to examine this boy out of stasis because we need more information and we need to know more of the illness that the other people have is contagious to them, or maybe they are the cure for this illness. She was debating with Captain Picard, and this was the first time that Picard said, okay, permission granted, I know your passion for the field and science and medical, etc. So I will give you permission, but I only want to give it permission when you find a safe space to do this and not contaminate the whole crew, because we'll have a situation like the USS Lantry. And you know,
that's
one thing I like to comment as well. I do like Pulaski's uniform because she has a different uniform as Dr. Crusher, and maybe they do this as on purpose to show us, okay, it's two different kind of doctors. But I did like it on her. It's more like, I don't want to say for an old woman, but it's more like, I think it suited her more.
Yeah. I think Dr. Crusher's was like a blue, right?
I mean, they both wear blue, only...
but her blue is slightly different.
I mean, no, not really, but I mean, like, of course, Beverly is wearing a lab coat, and she is more wearing, like, a trouser and a dress over it.
Oh, okay. Pulaski's like one-piece suit.
It's not one piece, but it's like a dress over a trouser.
Yeah, okay.
Well, maybe they do that. Maybe they do that because Pulaski is more of the science development, and Crusher is more like doctor things. Although she did do something with cybernetics, because she was the only one who could solve data in a way. Of course, she had a lot of help with of Geordi LaForge, but Crusher was really the doctor for data. So Dr. Pulaski came with the idea to put that exam into a shuttlecraft. And she said, I will take Data with me because he will be probably immune to it because he's an android.
Yeah.
And like you said before we started this recording, she was nicer to Data, and I think this is also the episode that she really became nicer to Data.
Definitely.
I think the fun part of this one is that there is a whole new understanding between a lot of people for each other. Yeah. And I think that is one of the lessons in this episode, that Gene Roddenberry would say, okay, everyone is different, everyone is diverse, so have respect for each other. Pulaski told Data to, I think he had to go 100 kilometers from the Enterprise or something. I can't remember the distance.
Yeah. I don't remember the distance either, but they had to be decent enough away to do their thing.
Yeah, it's possible, of course, that they I don't know, it's just really, I understand Picard's cautions, and I think this is the first time we see Picard worrying about the safety and health of Pulaski.
Yeah.
What makes me another question wondering, what did she ever see in Riker's father?
Oh, I know. That's going to be brought up in an episode. I don't remember which episode, but that'll be brought up in an episode.
Didn't we do that episode already?
I don't remember, did we?
I thought we did, because Riker's father came to the Enterprise as some ambassador, and oh my god, you had to see his face.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that episode, but I don't remember if we did it. We probably did. Oh god, I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, what did you see in him?
Wasn't that the first, in the first few episodes when she came along? I can't remember, but okay. Maybe it still have to come, I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember either.
So, Pulaski brings the boy out of stasis, and he was right awake, and he was talking to Pulaski telepathically. And that was one of the symptoms that they had when they genetically improved. And I don't know how to say this, but she was very excited, and she was, how I'd say this, I think she had a examination about 48 hours. And the bridge was monitoring her and was keeping touch with her, and then Pulaski gasped, and she knew that she was been infected. And I think that was a bit of a shock for her as well. And Picard was saying, okay, what do I have to do now? And she said, well, send the boy back to Darwin Station, and we go from there. But she knew in her heart that she couldn't go to the Enterprise, and they were saying, oh, come, okay, we're going to beam you over again and put you in a stasis kind of way or whatever. But she said, no, Captain, I knew the risk when I was thinking about this, and sometimes as a doctor you need to take risks to get more information of someone's or situation. So I will go with the shuttle and Data, because Data is immune to it. I will go to Darwin Station and we go from there. And what I don't want to say it shocked me, but you could see Pulaski aging rapidly.
Yeah. Like with the others, I don't think it took a long time, but they probably didn't age as quick as her because the others were probably slightly younger, I think they said. And she was already... I wouldn't know how old she was in that episode. But she did age pretty darn quick.
And not that alone, I think it was just the director wanted to make it this quick for her because we could see how I don't want to say different, but how would you say that in English? That it is very seriously.
Quick and good. Oh.
It's serious.
Seriously.
It's a serious situation.
Yeah.
So, as soon as she landed on Darwin Station, she quickly came to action and got more tests done but the doctor who was there, she said, well, it's for us an ending case because we don't have a cure for this. And etc. And I think you could see Pulaski getting a little bit afraid.
And
And
I agree with you there. She looked like she was getting there.
Or maybe the situation is just getting really deep into her thoughts of, okay, this is really serious and we need to do something. And so she ordered Data to do some more tests and find the solution or the cause of it. And the doctor was very skeptical because they didn't know Data. And this was the first time we see Pulaski ever to defend Data. And she said, well, Data has a thing with computers. And the doctor also asked, doesn't he have to go back because he will be infected as well? So Pulaski said, well, he can't be affected, he's an android.
Yeah, because he knows his way around computers, and no, he can't be affected from the infected by the disease, because he's an android. He can't get infected from it, but he could possibly, I don't know, could he possibly carry it back with him?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because it was the flu. And Data can't have the flu.
Yeah, he caught that one in the second episode of The Naked Now. He caught it. Huh. Oh, well.
But I also, what we see in this episode, this is also the first time that Pulaski has faith in Data. Normally she's a little bit skeptic. But so Data found out what the cause was of this illness to get older and die quickly. So he said that the first officer of the USS Lantry had some kind of it wasn't Andorian flu, but it was a flu, and it was harmless in a way, but because it triggered the genetic of the children, it spread along on the USS Lantry and the Darwin Station, because of the first officer of the USS Lantry was in contact with the children. He got this disease and he spread it over the USS Lantry.
So it's because of that one officer who had the flu.
And so Data said, well, the USS Lantry was not the source of this illness, but it is a trigger and there is no cure for it all, so you all will die. And the next report Pulaski gave Picard, she was so old it was even shocking. She was like 80 or 90 years old. So old she looked like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she definitely looked like she was. Actually, she looked like she was almost 100.
Yeah, she did. She did.
That's how old she looked.
Yeah, well, Data went back to the Enterprise, and I believe it was Captain Picard who came with the idea to use the transporter to transport her back with to her old self. And because they would probably have DNA in the transporter buffer. Well,
oh yeah, they always. I remember them saying that they have a bit of the DNA in the buffer.
Well,
I remember that.
In this case, she was like Dr. McCoy. She didn't like transporters.
Yeah.
So what they needed to do was find DNA somewhere in the medical database or in her room where DNA was and put it in the transporter buffer. Well, let me tell you guys,
I think
that would
I
be
think they
difficult.
found the DNA in her room in the hairbrush.
Yeah, that's correct. That would be, in one way, that would be difficult because they couldn't find any in the medical files, because she, like most doctors, she didn't want to have a health check herself. And so eventually they went to the room. I mean, like Geordi and Data. Oh, no, it was Riker and Data. And I must say, Data was very, how can I say this? He cared for the situation. So they find her, and Chief O'Brien had to change something in the transporters. And, you know, guys, that's what I love about Chief O'Brien. Chief O'Brien is a resourceful man, and I already did a separate episode only to talk about him, and I think I did this with Tommy from Trek Canon. You need to go to the Orinda Talks podcast too, and to the Star Trek series. I think it is one of the latest episodes that I talked with him about Chief O'Brien. But I always loved Chief O'Brien, that he was so resourceful, and he was so he was just a normal, regular working person too. Said, okay, I don't have a rank, I don't need a rank. I am that and that and that. I'm a technician, and I will do my best to keep the ship in working order.
Yeah, he knew how to keep the ship in working order. He was smart.
So everything is ready, and they were ready to beam up Pulaski again. And Picard said to O'Brien that he would do the beam up because there was a big risk. If this wouldn't work in the first time, the energy of Pulaski will transport it back into space, as you will never be home again. So, Picard said, okay, I will do the transport. And so Miles O'Brien went to keep the medical buffer in check. So Picard beamed Pulaski over, and slowly she became normal again and on the Enterprise. And
yeah, sure.
So Pulaski said right away, oh, we have to use that to the people on Dawn Station. We can save them now. Pulaski and Picard were walking in the corridor, and you could see that they were very, and that was surprising. When Pulaski came off the transporter pad, the first thing she did, she was giving Picard a hug. Firstly, she will never do that to Picard. Secondly, Picard isn't a hugger, but he was so relieved that everything is be okay.
He looked a bit shocked when he got hugged there, but he was so relieved, to have the younger Pulaski back.
And I think they have a new found understanding for each other. Also, like, now he knows that she was already admiring him by his action and diplomatics and whatever else more, and he got his admiration in how she was a doctor. And like we said before, she is the only one who could say no to him and talk against him in a way.
Yeah.
So guys, this was also the end of the episode. Amanda, is there something you'd like to add?
I can't really think of anything. It was an interesting episode. It was an interesting episode about the whole aging thing and how they got her back and how it happened.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So I think I'm going to see what the IMDb rating is, and that is really low. It's 6.5.
Ooh.
Amanda, what would you give this episode?
Oh, jeez. I'll be nice and give it an 8.
Yeah, I would give it an 8 too. It was a very nice storyline, and it was very interesting how they come at the end of the solution and the investigation to all this, and the nice understanding for each other, not only from Pulaski and Picard, but also from Pulaski to Data. And it was like, in one way I could feel like that Data was the only friend now that she got in this situation. Well, guys, tell us what rating would you give this episode? And I think, guys, we're going to ask this of you every time now. I hope you guys are gonna be a little bit more giving us more feedback, because like I said in the Orinda Talks podcast, I'm at the point again that I'm doubting to get going with the podcast. So let us know what rating you will rate this episode. And the only thing I can say, we will see you in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.
Yeah, see you guys in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.
Dear listeners, thank you for listening, and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode, we will recap the episode A Matter of Honor. I also like to tell you about my other podcast called Orinda Talks. Orinda Talks is a podcast which and I talk about books, movies, fandom, and other geek things. On this podcast, I also have an extra episode series in which I will talk about everything Star Trek. You can find Orinda Talk on the YouTube channel or the Facebook group. We will see you in 2 weeks.